Joshua Percy,
Present.
Esmond King, Janelle Gomez, Taylor Butek, here. Alexis Swansky,
Here.
Samantha Setta, here. Lily Gallo, here. Amy Luzon, here. E. Isaiah Hopper,
Here.
Julia McAdams, here. Dr. Tamika Wardlow Williams, absent. Arthur Patry,
Here.
Haley Rowan,
Can everyone stand for the pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm seeking a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Representative Butek, second by Representative Gallo. Any discussion?
Yes. I'd like to motion to strike the Finance Commission meeting minutes of September 11 from the agenda. They were not passed through Parliament. They were not passed through Finance, so they can't be passed through here. So a motion for that. Anybody second?
Second by Representative Butek. Any discussion? No? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? The amendment, please.
That's the amendments approved. I have one more. Friendly amendment, if no one opposes. I'd like to move speakers, Susie Alba, Director of Alumni and College Relations. She can't be here till 7:15, 7:20, so I'd like to move the speakers agenda down to item 9. No, make it item 9, yeah. No, make it item 8, move everything up 1, so open forum would be 4, officer announcements would be 5.
Before new business.
Yes, right before new business.
Alright, any second on that? Representative Gallo, second. Any discussion? No? Okay. So I'm moving to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The amendment passes. I'm seeking a motion to approve the agenda. Representative Gallo, second by Representative Hopper. Alright, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So the agenda is approved. I'm seeking a motion to approve the minutes from August 28, 2019. I'm going to take the Parliament. Alright, motion by Representative Setta, second by Representative Luzon. Thank you. Any discussion? Yes.
I just know that there were some unanswered questions in the minutes. We have a motion to approve the agenda, which was done by Representative Setta and seconded by Representative Gallo. The motion to approve the minutes was by Representative Gallo, seconded by Representative Butek. And the motion for the leave of absence was Representative Gomez, seconded by Representative Butek.
I'd like to make those, to second those motions.
Okay. Do I still discuss on that? Is there any discussion on adding that? No. Alright, so we're moving to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Alright. And that is amended. And I'm still seeking a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Representative Gallo. President Percy. Alright. Discussion? Alright. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
freshman parliamentary rep. Except I just found out about it tonight, so like, hey.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
With that, open forum is closed.
Thank you.
Alright, officers' announcements, President Percy.
Okay, so you'll hear from me a little later tonight about the town hall report, and me and the vice president will discuss that and the class elections discussion. But I want to say that we do have 3 new members for Parliament. I want to welcome you guys. Very glad to have you guys here. I know we're looking at, for the next couple of weeks, we don't have much going on. Class elections ended today, so hopefully those will go out. But I don't really have any other more announcements other than to push for the chairs of the committees to really fill your committee members. You have so many open, which I'll go over later tonight under appointments and resignations. But I'm very happy with the town hall that happened. And I look forward to the next one. And other than that, I don't have anything else.
Alright. So, Vice President King.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I just want to see, I already know I'm doing a couple of tasks right now, but I'm also trying to create a new resolution on recycling. I want to try to get more recycling bins around the trash cans around campus and shit like that. And I'm also trying to alter, me and Mr. Brownski are also trying to alter the expulsion guidelines. If anybody would like to add some input, I would love to hear from y'all. Same thing with expulsion announcement. So if you do have any suggestions, we's always open to this shit. We is going to bring the amended policy to Parliament to speak on later, but it's always better to get more input before we come up with the ordinance. So that's all I got right now.
Alright. Now, Secretary Wintek, do you have anything?
Yeah, I wanted to update everyone that I'm meeting with a venue on Friday to go to the holiday party, and am also actively searching for a venue for Stories, so that is well underway. I'm also in the process of going over 4 different constitutions. 2 of the clubs have been contacted and are interested in coming in the next Parliament meeting. 2 of them I'm still reading over, so that's the update from me.
Alright. Treasurer Bowman is not here. Now, on to my announcements. So I have 2 leaves today, actually. I have a leave from Treasurer Gomez. It says, hello, I'm requesting a leave for today's Parliament meeting because I'm not feeling well physically or mentally. I hope you all have a good meeting. A motion for that. Can I have a motion, seeking a motion to approve the leave? Representative Gallo, seconded by Representative Song.
Yes.
Alright, is there any discussion? Some discussion? No? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Leave is approved. And I have a late leave from Haley Roan. She said that she is helping her dad with some stuff, so she will get here at around 7:30.
Can I have a motion to approve the leave? Okay, motion by Representative Butek, seconded by Representative Hopper. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Leave is approved.
And now we're on to Deputy Speaker setup. Do you have anything?
Hi guys. I don't have any announcements to make right now, except except I'm really happy to see some new faces on Parliament. That's awesome. My Conditions and Services Committee has, I think, 2 Parliament seats open. So if you guys are interested in joining that committee, come let me know and we can fill out a sheet to get you guys started.
All right, now I move on to Constitution Organization Conference Reports, RSA.
Is anyone here from RSA? Body can do whatever it feels like it needs to do. You can vote on it as is.
President Percy,
Yes.
I am the president of RSA.
Yeah, you are free to present the, yes.
I do not know what this point is that is on the agenda, so I was told nothing about it.
So I'm actually seeking a motion to approve the report.
The conference.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of the report?
Yeah, it's in the agenda.
This is,
Representative Senate, second by Representative Kane. And now, any discussion?
I will say this is now, this has been in the agenda for 2 weeks now. We have 3 new members and 2 of them I see are listed on the designee for the list of people who attended this conference. I guess we can vote on it as is. If we have any questions as a body, you can vote no on approving it. But I don't feel a need. If you have questions, that would be a reason to maybe motion to table it. But we do have our representative, I think, Adams here. So if anybody has any questions, are you available to answer them? Okay. But other than that, we can just move forward. I don't have any more discussion.
Are there any questions on the report? I will vote to approve. We will vote to approve the conference report. Motion by Representative Kane, second by Representative Gallo. All those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions?
You guys want to abstain?
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay. Abstentions by Representative McAdams and Representative Hopper. All right, and it passes. Now, moving on to reports, town hall report. President Percy and Vice President King.
Do you want me to start off, or would you like to? Because you wrote up this nifty little paper here. I did not get a chance to do that.
At the end of the day, man, I'm your vice president, so
You can go ahead and start off, man.
I defer to you, sir.
Okay, I defer, no, just kidding. So we held the town hall on the 18th last Wednesday where Mr. Patry and Tamika were there to kind of hear students' concerns and mom just passed out this great breakdown of the town hall and what happened. A lot of suggestions were made by the students. It was less complaining and more suggestions, which is exactly what we were hoping for. More constructive criticism and trying to help solve problems rather than just voice them and offer no help, which was great from my opinion. I think that a lot of what the students brought, while it was a small crowd, is a crowd nonetheless. We gave students an opportunity to voice their concerns, which is all that we can do. Is offer opportunities for students to have a voice, which I'm very glad that we held the town hall. And I'm sure Arthur was taking diligent note-taking during that town hall, and as is Tamika. But this is everything. I read through this real quick before the meeting when the vice president handed it to me. Everything kind of hits the nose on it. I don't know if anybody has any questions about it that we could answer, but I do think that it was a positive step in forwarding the Donald Dining Center conversation and trying to see what outcomes that we can lead to with these suggestions that we're given. I do want to thank every single one of the executive board members did show up for either all or at least the majority of the town hall to show support, which is great. We had a lot of good suggestions that came up from students. So I think overall it was a great success, and I'm looking forward to see where it leads to. So.
And I just wanted to run over a couple of highlights of the report. Basically, one of the biggest things is on the first page, the second dot down, the service area revamping. We was talking about basically would there be a way we could have food cooked at point type, so when you order it, it's cooked right there. And one of the main problems, one of the main obstructions to that whole concept is basically there's not enough room. So from what we're getting, the DDC is actually trying to revamp their service area so they could possibly have that kind of aspect to their organization. It also will help with visuals and jolly put more choices in the place. A second thing that was really big was talking about the meal plans, which is on the second page on the back. They was basically talking about how the meals are going to go a little bit. So if you, let's say you buy 19 meals and you don't use some during the week, you don't get those next week or anytime else. So a couple of the assuages that were brought to our attention was like a point-based system where you choose how to spend your money that you purchase. At the end of the day, I understand why that would be quite enticing because again, you bought those meals, so why you should not be able to use them. Arthur seemed pretty, from what I've got, pretty open to all the concepts that were brought to his attention. And the last thing I did want to bring everybody's attention to was basically that one of the major things, one of the major concepts that people kept hitting on at that town hall was basically they want the Donovan Dining Center to be more of a place where we can build a community, which I understand again for that because it is probably the second most important place on this campus outside of school and things like that. Obviously the library is on most people's agenda is number one. I would say DDC is number two. So they would actually like to have more like a type shit pet rally come up there. They was talking about like a food testing place, a food testing time, like maybe early Wednesday time frame, maybe like early Wednesday during free period. They was also talking about having like a cultural day, so where we can have like people create certain type of cultural dishes and hand them out, lots of things like that. I feel like that's probably a good idea. We can always continue to follow up with Mr. Arthur. He seems very, very open to all and all assuage that we have brought to his attention. Again, we do, as a body, we appreciate everybody who participated in bringing this concept to the forefront of our message, as well as the 8 people that did show up to the town hall to make the town hall worthwhile. It was probably one of the best town halls we've had in my tenure, which I'm extra stupid obliged for. So we do appreciate all, especially the executive board for being there. If you would like to look over, if you have any questions, me, Mr. Percy, the executive board, as well as Mr. Office right here. So.
Alright.
Oh, the last thing I did want to talk about too, I do apologize to throw this shit back in our face, was the hours. The hours seem to be another big topic, whether it be closing too early for the late classes, because the late classes go to about 9 o'clock. Actually, I got a class that goes from 6 to 9, so I understand what they're talking about out there. So a possible assuage to that one as well is to have your meal swipes. If we can't have you spend your meals as you please, maybe have the cafe, which is located underneath what they call this jump, the student union, be able to take swipes so you can purchase meals there too, because the cafe is actually open at 12 o'clock. which I feel like is a pretty good opportunity for people who don't have the opportunity to eat before 7:30 when the dining center closes, to continue to have a meal for them. Because again, that outside of paying for tuition, if you can't eat, it's really hard to be focused in school. I do appreciate y'all listening to me rambling around and shit like that.
Alright. Is there any discussion on this, or?
Would now be the appropriate time to ask a question that's not mentioned on here? Okay, so I'm just curious what the dietitian's hours are, like what her hours during the week are, when she works, if anyone knows that.
I mean, it does vary. If it's more convenient, please feel free to send an email to Dining Services and we'll get it to her. Because of some of the students' hours, she's often here on odd hours. She does have some set hours, but most of the time she's trying to work on the student schedules. But she's always responsive. If you also want to email me, I'll make sure she gets your email and can get in touch with you or whomever.
Oh, thank you.
Representative McAdams?
You mentioned that you talked about the timing during the week until 7:30. Was it brought up that the dining center closes at 6 on weekends?
Yes, it was actually also brought up on that, same thing with the brunch and how early breakfast is scheduled in comparison to when people actually have the opportunity to eat. That was also brought up. If it's not evident in my notes, I do apologize for that.
That's fine.
Any other discussion? Alright. Moving on to speakers, Susanna Alba, Director of Alumni and College Relations.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, President Percy, for allowing me the time. I did just want to acknowledge Kim Dumpson, Vice President for Advancement at the college. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Kim. And brand new, starting this week, Emily Simon is the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations. Emily will probably be working with a lot of our current students and our recent alumni. And Emily comes from Montclair University. She actually was the coordinator for Greek Life. So Emily could maybe be a future advisor or something working with our student organization. So I'm happy to acknowledge Emily. I wanted to talk about homecoming and family weekend happening next week. You should have already received communications as students, but you'll be getting another email tomorrow. We're really excited. Homecoming weekend is a signature event for the Alumni Association. We've been hosting that event here at the college for many, many years. We're happy to report that Division of Student Success has co-sponsored this year, as well as the President's Office. And this is the very first year that we've really rethought how homecoming works at the college. Primarily, first and foremost, we want our alumni, our graduates, to come back to Rhode Island College, to see what the campus looks like, to see what our students are up to have fun and re-engage. But over the years, we've thought about ways to get current students to attend homecoming, faculty and staff. But this year, for the very first time, we've rebranded as Homecoming and Family Weekend. So you may not know this, but your parents and families all received an invitation at your home address. Whether you're in-state or out-of-state, they would have also received an email from the alumni office inviting them to Homecoming Weekend. So that's a new population this year. About 6,000 parents and families of current students were invited. So I don't know, has anyone's parents or families mentioned homecoming to you and asked you what it was? Yep, so we're seeing an increase in that population, so we're very excited about that. So homecoming weekend, I'm going to pass these around. As students, you would not have received this because this is primarily for our alumni, but it can be a little bit overwhelming because we have so many activities and events. But we kick off next Thursday night. And we have next Thursday, we're hosting an ice cream social. You're going to get all this in the campus email tomorrow. An ice cream social on the Rick Quad. Newport Creamery has donated ice cream, and we're going to be giving ice cream at the Career Center and the Alumni Office. If you come over to tell us about an internship you've had, or maybe seek support from us in finding an internship, you get to make your own sundae. So that's not in this brochure, but that's something that's going to be for students next Thursday right on the quad. That evening, we are hosting our homecoming kickoff party. How many of you attended the homecoming kickoff party last year? Okay, so Josh. So that's a really fun event. We have what's called live band karaoke. If anybody has ever seen this, we have a live band, and you get to sing on stage with the live band. We have celebrity judges, so your very own Tamika Wardlow will be a judge, and we have other folks who will be judging this contest. But what's really cool is we're calling it Neon Night. We're going to be giving out glow sticks, glow glasses, right on the campus quad next Thursday night. We're going to have food trucks, like no other, vegan ice cream, lots of great food trucks. We're going to have inflatables for college students. We're going to have a mechanical bull, and of course the live karaoke show. And that's open to students and free for students. And that's listed here, and that's next Thursday night. We had about 750 students attend last year. So if you're a new student or have not attended the kickoff party, we encourage you to join us. Certainly encourage your folks, your fellow students who are living in the residence halls with you, or other student government officers and student organization leaders. That would be fantastic. Also that evening on Thursday, we are hosting a student leadership reunion. How many of you guys got the invitation for the student leaders mixer? You probably all should have. From 5:30 to 7, just prior to the kickoff, we're serving dinner over Engage 200 for any current student leaders who would like to join us. We've invited alumni who used to be on student government, like myself. I was on student government here at Rick when I attended here. Or if you were part of programming or Harambe. We've invited alumni to come back to meet and mingle with current student leaders. Kristen Salemi from the student union is co-hosting that or helping us organize that event. That's also in this brochure, and we're going to be encouraging you to sign up for that, and that's for you guys. Again, so really exciting stuff on Thursday. On Friday, we don't necessarily have as many student activities. That's our reunion night for a lot of our alums. You can see we're inviting our alumni and parents in the morning on Friday for something called Back to Class, where they get to sit in a classroom in Craigley Hall for a mini lecture delivered by one of our faculty members. They're going to get a notebook and a pen and a voucher for Donovan Dining Center, so that's kind of cool. But on Friday, there is a volleyball tournament for students and alumni, so if you're interested in a barbecue on Friday and want to just play a friendly game of volleyball, that's in here, but you'll get that as part of the communication about student events overall. Really exciting. There's a movie night, there's a Rick Flicks on Friday night as well. And then really, I'm here to talk about homecoming Saturday. So Saturday day is really, if you see this brochure, the entire thing is taken up by Saturday. That's our traditional homecoming day. Very exciting. It's free for students. You're going to get a t-shirt. If you sign up to attend and come out on the quad on Saturday, you're going to get a free Rhode Island College student t-shirt. It's going to say student. You actually get a ticket for a free lunch buffet. So you don't have to use your points that day. If you want to join us for lunch, we're having a Taste of Rhode Island buffet. Clam cakes, chowder, calamari, Dell's lemonade, coffee milk. Free meal on Saturday day if you guys are on campus or are commuter students and want to come back. You're also going to get a coupon for a dessert food truck again, t-shirt, and then we're going to have henna tattoo artists doing free henna tattoos for students, caricatures, again inflatables for college students, and then almost like a farmer's market will be set up with various vendors and lots of activity on that Saturday for students. For families, for Rick, the Rick community, but we're really excited again about the partnership with Student Success. We look to you, the student government leaders and the student leaders on this campus to attend. If you've never been, to see what it's like to really spread the word, bring some of your friends and colleagues here in student government. And when you see that email tomorrow, if it excites you to really just sign up and register for things and also forward that on, and maybe share some of the social media. If you subscribe to the college's Instagram page, you would have seen some videos and things we put together as a result of last year's homecoming weekend. So that's all I have to say, and I just wanted to thank Haley Roan. Is Haley here? Yes, Haley, great. So Haley is a recent grad and is the alumni representative on student government. So Haley and I and the staff and alumni office will work closely with Haley on bringing you updates on a monthly. Is it twice a month that you guys meet, or bi-monthly? The student government.
It's like every other week.
Every other week, there you go. So we would have Haley provide you with updates on ways that the Alumni Association can support our current students, but more importantly, help you think about when you are about to graduate, how we can support you in your lives and careers, how we can connect you with alumni in the fields that you're interested in going into, how we can connect you with alumni who may be able to provide internships or job opportunities for you. And be on the lookout for other creative and innovative programs out of the alumni office, like a pilot mentoring program we're going to be launching with 25 students and 25 alums paired up with like interests and again, like careers. So, a lot of students don't understand what the Alumni Association offers or don't think that because they're students there isn't a connection, but hopefully you'll start to see more communications from us and we'll be able to support you guys in your career as students and then when you become graduates, hopefully. So any questions for me about homecoming or just Alumni Association overall? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business, class club future election discussion. Vice President Gaines.
Have a good day, y'all, again. So me and President Percy had a little meeting and we was basically talking about how we can make these class elections work, because ironically we had kind of like a lackluster turnout this afternoon, morning type. We only had 2 votes for the freshmen, 2 votes for the sophomores, 5 votes for the juniors, and 33 votes for the seniors. So it's going to be kind of hard to have a full, what they call it, body for their classes. So we was kind of like throwing out little ideas. We really wanted a representative of the college, particularly Ms. Williams, to be here so we can talk about what the college wants out of the class elections. But to kind of like throw a couple of our ideas out, we was thinking about having the class representatives actually take out a petition instead of being voted on, and kind of change the class elections to more of a class club. So it would be kind of like you would come up and sign up and say, okay, I want to be on a class club, and then you would proceed upon that way. So it's a little easier to like get more people involved. What we was also thinking about was for basically the chair of those I'm gonna call committees. It's a club. The committees is basically those will be voted on, and then all the other positions shall be like first come first serve. Okay, I want to be a part of the freshman committee. I want to be a part of the junior committee. But you would vote on the chair of that committee, so it's still kind of like a democratic concept. It just doesn't seem as though it is rocking too easily at this moment. Again, we only had 2 votes for the freshmen, 2 votes for the sophomores. Throughout the whole 6 hours we was doing the elections, and I'm deeply appreciative of those who ran, Ms. Polonsky, Mr. Job. But that was kind of like, but basically we was conceptualizing. We really want to make this work. We really want to have the representation for these classes, but we do want to know what the college wants out of this representation, this representative body outside of Parliament. Again, to kind of reiterate what I was saying, we was thinking that we could have these class committees go underneath the Parliament, kind of like how it would be area of the club. If you have something to add,
Okay, go ahead.
I mean that's basically it. We just basically trying to make this thing work. We was also thinking about having like a physical sign up in the quad of the DEC, so it'd be a little easier to have people participate in that way instead of coming up to the office to sign up. But that's the only thing I can really think of at the moment.
Okay, yeah. He kind of hit everything on the docket there. The issue that we're having is that for the last 4 years, we've had less than 75 people vote in our elections. And we've had most of the time the senior class is the most represented in the elections. And then it dwindles down to almost 0 freshman involvement, almost 0 sophomore, a little bit better in junior, and then you go to the senior class where we have 3 people running for president and a couple people running for the different positions. So the senior class is almost never a problem. It comes down to the other ones. And one of the things that I didn't want to get rid of is that the senior class president is, picked to speak at commencement. How would us changing the election format to chairs of committees affect that process for the college? Which goes into his discussion of what does the college want out of these committees. I have asked people at the college, I haven't gotten a straight answer. We're still trying to push to figure out what they actually want, and they kind of ask me, well, what do they do? And I explain that each class is, there are allotted a certain amount of funds to put on events or to use that funds towards an event, co-sponsoring with another club or other clubs on campus to help that class. And unfortunately, most of the time, the senior classes are the only ones that have a full club. And they're the ones that's most important because they get the funds to help with senior week, and they're the president speaks at commencement. So I haven't looked at the ballots yet, but seeing the outcomes, I'm really hopeful that that has a full club there of representation so that they can fully use those funds. But we're not asking anybody on this body to give suggestions. We're just kind of letting everyone know maybe to think about it, maybe think about an idea of how they would handle it differently, just to help give us some suggestions. It doesn't have to be right now. Think about it. I think my favorite idea is having the presidents of each class still run as an election, and they're the chairs of the committees. So they still get elected, you still get that president of the class title, but the rest of the committee will be filled out by a committee application form. So it's a lot easier than a bunch of different positions. It's only 4. And then I know each class, freshman has 3 parliament seats that runs in the election, and sophomore, junior, and senior has 1. And me and Monk were talking back and forth that we should just make it a petition, and we should make it an easy petition. It should be between 15 to 20 signatures of people in your class. It should be real simple. Easier than an at-large, because that running as a parliament seat through an election is easier than taking out a petition for some people. So we should still make it easier while also not just putting them on. So I know we've bounced back numbers on that. But we still want to have those seats available for people, not to just cut them out due to not needing to do elections. So we'll see from that. But we're just going to have a conversation with the college for now to kind of see how that goes, because 4 years of failing, I would say, is about time to change how we're doing things. I pushed for electronic balloting, bringing in electronic balloting booths for people to go in and vote like an actual election, and that kind of fell through. So we're back to square one, just so that the Parliament body knows that a change will possibly be coming to that, hopefully before the end of the year, so that can roll into next year. But other than that, it's just a conversation we're starting right now.
So, I feel like after talking with a few different people today, trying to get them to vote, it seems more it's apathy. People just don't really care. They don't understand what the positions do, and they don't want to take the time out of their day if they're not getting paid for it. So I don't think there's much we can do on that aspect other than just push to explain exactly what they do and just be more transparent about it. But there's not much we can do on that aspect where if people don't want to vote, we can't make them vote.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so to kind of piggyback off Mr. Percy's point, I do like your point, because apathy does play a role, I was right. But we're going to have I don't have the exact results from the election. I was going over them with Ms. John earlier. But we will have to have a second election for a couple of these positions, whether it be a runoff, but it did seem, if I remember correctly, all the class representatives were filled. Again, we're gonna have to do a runoff for a couple of them because they were tagged, but for each class, we will have to have another election, except for the seniors, depending on how they fall through. Certain people ran twice, they won twice, so if they don't want a certain position, and if everything falls through, then there would be one position that's not open, so we would have to run another election for the seniors as well. But at the end of the day, after I talked to a lot of the winners from all 4 classes, we will try to run another election later on next month. But we will still try to alter, like President Perkins said, alter the whole concept of the class elections, class committee, and see what we can do. Again, we're always obliged to suggestions and assuages. So please, anybody in Parliament or anybody who's not in Parliament, whether you be a student, even an alumni, we would love to hear your assuages.
Representative Wilson?
I think a petition would be a lot easier for someone to be able to hold a position in their class's body. I like your idea of keeping the president's title kind of more official and having elections for that, but I think based off of being a student and having people come up to me with their petitions, I was far more likely to give my input than going out and voting, so I think that would definitely, you'd probably see more participation that way.
So you're saying you should be, to be on the body, the class body, you should have a petition.
I like that idea, yeah, I
So-
think a petition would be a lot
Have
easier.
a petition and then elect the chair.
Mm.
Would you have a certain amount, because again, you have to have a petition, so you know about the petition process. Would you have a number in mind to have a petition?
If you're just getting students from your grade, I don't see how that could be too hard. I would say like 25 minimum.
See, we was going back and forth earlier on that. I'm like, man, you get the 25, you taxing people, bro. Might as well you make it 20 right there, you know what I'm saying? Because like, once you put them 5s on, it's like, come on, for what? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But I do, again, that's exactly in the ballpark we was thinking about.
Yeah, if you ask people in your classes, I'm sure they would sign for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Again, and more often than not, you'll have those people in your classes because those are the classes you're taking at the end of the day.
Or,
I think it might be a little harder for the upperclassmen because it's kind of more of a mix.
That's
For
true.
freshman and sophomore, that's kind of like where you should kind of like, it's there.
I was also thinking if you were just doing petitions, you could write a petition to be on the body of your grades, whatever, and then you could have elections once you get that process done.
So
I don't
write
know
a
if that would
petition and then try to have elections for the people who took out a petition.
Yeah.
Like how it would be almost in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I like those ideas.
That's very similar to how we do it here, is everybody takes out a petition and then runs for a position, so it'd be very similar to what Parliament does.
And if there's going to be under Parliament, that would be a suffice answer. Well, does anybody else think 2025, 15? Which I reckon, if we was going to go down this path.
I think 25 is a good minimum, because I found it very easy to get people to sign.
I do apologize. You was on resident?
Yeah.
You did the resident? So you think 25? So we're looking at 20 to 25, 25. Because it wasn't as hard to get them jobs. Which I would concur. Like when I was doing my petition, I got 100. You know what I'm saying? Just to goddamn, because I ain't want, I ain't want to take it back out. You know what I'm saying? So I reckon, yeah. But again, to go back to the whole concept, we don't want to make it too unruly with people. And when you start going a little hard, because again, 50, even, 50 is a whole lot. I was a commuter at large, so I can just run up to anybody, like, hey, Mo, sign my junk, you know what I'm saying? But again, like, trying to get people in your class, especially when you get upperclassmen, it's kind of hard to tell who's who's who and shit.
Representative Butek?
Do you know if the class elections are brought up in places like RIC 100 or even orientation? Because I didn't know that class elections were a thing until I was like a junior.
See, that's the thing. I really want to get more of Parliament, the aspects of Parliament, which would be class elections, into those things.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we hit
Hit a wall.
at the moment. I wouldn't say a wall because I'm pretty sure we can still hop over that jump. But you know.
Yeah, because I think that'd be a really good place to outreach to freshmen, and then going forward, if every freshman coming into the school hears the same thing at orientation or in RIC 100, knowing like there's class elections, there's Parliament, then Cameron, as juniors, everyone's going to know what the deal is instead of just coming into it for the first time and not knowing.
I also wanted to put that into like I don't want to say the syllabus for the people, for the teachers, but I also wanted like maybe kind of like have that in the syllabus for the teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, we also have a student government, which y'all can participate in the school, which y'all like do this, and that.
Like mandatory courses or something, like writing 100 or something.
Yeah, but I just didn't want them to like do too much with it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want them to spend
Yeah.
a whole day of their class
Mhm.
learning time on student government. I just kind of like pass and just give them people a little bit of knowledge. Oh yeah, it's over in the student union for. That's kind of like the concept. But I really do think we should put it in the orientation, the transfer
Yeah,
orientation,
absolutely.
freshman orientation. Get a little more clout that way.
Representative Gallo? Representative McAdams?
I think even if people know about elections, like I didn't realize that elections were today until my friend who was helping with elections told me to come and vote. And even when I went into the dining center, like the table was like off to the side. It wasn't even in the front where the majority of the people in the dining center can see it. It was very like secluded, and there weren't like, I didn't see like posters or anything like to tell me that elections were today. Even if there were emails, people get a lot of emails and stuff.
That kind of goes back to the one of the concepts I'm trying to create on this campus is the advertising committee. A lot of times when we advertise, those advertisements get taken down. Like I remember going through almost every building except the science building. I do apologize to the science people, but you know, just putting flyers up and things like upon that concept. And like the next day, they gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really hard for us to advertise these things when you know anybody can do anything to the posters and the flyers and things like that. Which I do concur that should be a lot better to advertise those class elections, because again, not everybody knows, like a lot of people don't even know about SCG like that.
I know like in the dorms, you need to get like permission to hang out flyers. I don't know if you need permission from each academic building as well.
See, from what I've been told, you don't need it, but again, anytime you put anything up, it seems to be taken
It's
down.
usually the janitorial staff that just takes stuff down.
Point of information, there's a posting policy that you can find not easily on the website. But I am working with the Vice President of Student Success and the Dean of Students on reading through it and trying to figure out if it's A, outdated, B, not distributed to students well enough, or C, not taught to student clubs or organizations well enough. So we're trying to figure out what the problem is, because almost every single student club has the same problems, and it's they put up flyers and then they're down. So we're trying to figure that out. So that's going to hopefully be dealt with soon. But that is one point of information.
Representative Wilson?
That was part one from what I wanted to say. Part two is RIC 100 is being aimed as more academic teaching than a RIC community. They want to use it as a time to help get students more ready for the college workload academically. I have reached out to RIC 100 professors about coming to speak about student organizations. They have not responded. So that's not going to stop me from emailing them. But that's what I've been told, is that it's an academic class, that they're using, like they did, the one thing they did do was drag all the freshmen over to student activities day. So it doesn't mean they can't involve student boards. So I'm still gonna push for that, because I think that even myself or one of us going and talking for 15 minutes about all the student boards and answering questions could make a whole lot of difference. And to the freshman orientation point, I've been serving on a panel for 3 years now of freshman orientation. It's usually 3 Greek life people for some reason and a student community government member. But they all serve in other orgs too. Talking to freshmen, but the panel is optional. So freshmen have to choose to come to it. And I said that we should make a student organization panel mandatory. And I haven't gotten through yet, but still gonna push for it this year. But if you have people you can talk to about that, is Mike Fox, Mike Jackalone, those are people to reach out about that. If you want to try to, feel free to try to do it yourselves on behalf of your own organizations or Parliament. That can help too, I think.
Any more discussion?
I am elected, but like,
I'm gonna have to apologize.
that's fine.
Yeah, you're not officially a member yet, but I will yield the floor to you so that you may speak.
Thank you. So, on the point of elections, I was on the ballot. I was running for student president and parliamentary chair, and I forgot the elections were today until like noon. So, as well as the fact that I would go up to my friends who were freshmen and be like, "Hey, it's election day. You should go vote for student reps." And they'd look at me and go like, "We have student reps?" So it's less so, I don't think, that the freshmen don't want to vote for things. It's more so the fact that they don't know they have things they can vote for. Which is a bit of an issue.
That's why you're on Parliament.
It is why I'm here. But yes.
Yes.
I'd like to add to that, I also think that the roles of the representative should be more clear to people that are running, and that should definitely be advertised more in freshman classes, just so they know exactly what they'll be doing as class officers, so more people kind of have that in their heads when they're going out to vote.
To answer that, I have witnessed Joan describing each position to everyone who comes up running. So I do agree that when they come up, they probably don't know, but Joan does explain it. And then when it comes down to people who write in, they don't know about what the position is. So I do agree. We have a new PR director. Hopefully we can start advertising what the committees are differently, Parliament is differently, and we can really get the word out about what these things are directly in a better way. That's why we have a new PR director.
All right. Any more discussion? All right. We discussed. Now we're moving on to updates and remarks. Staff update, Arthur.
I don't want to steal Haley's thunder, but I encourage everybody to participate, enjoy some of the wonderful things they do in homecoming. It's much different than last year. I know they have a very robust program, so I really encourage everybody to go and have fun.
Okay.
Sorry.
David Simmons is not here, so alumni update.
I think Arthur and Susie have what kind of explained it, so I'm
Appointments, resignations, and vacancy.
All right, you guys are gonna hear the top one more time. I'm gonna make it real quick. I want to ask that these appointments be accepted unanimously. That does not need a vote or a second motion. So I want to appoint Thomas Yankee as the Public Relations Director to the Public Relations Committee as a non-student Parliament member. I want to appoint Cassandra Delos Reyes as the Student Organization Coordinator onto the Student Organization Committee as a non-student member. And then Lucille Denaro as the Comptroller of the Finance Commission. I'd also want to appoint Caitlin Taro as a non-student Parliament seat On the Public Relations Committee, I would like to appoint Isaiah Hopper to the Bylaws and Adjudications Commission as a student parliament rep. I would also like to appoint Amy Lazan as a student parliament rep to the Conditions and Services Committee. Make sure I get them all down here. And I'd like to appoint Isaiah Hopper to the Library Advisory Committee. Other than that, I don't have any more of those, and I ask those be accepted unanimously unless there is any opposition.
No opposition.
Resignations. I hate to inform everyone that Michaela Hill has resigned as a parliament member due to health issues, so I ask that that be accepted unanimously, unfortunately. You want to oppose? Okay. Passes. No, you got it, it's fine. All right, so I'm just going to share, I don't want to keep anyone here any longer, so I'm just going to share for the chairs of the committees what you have for your committee. So you guys can write that down so you know what you're looking for. So for bylaws and adjudication, which is the chair is the speaker here, you have one more student parliament seat and you have 2 non-student parliament seats. And you can appoint an ex officio who can sit in and be a non-voting member, but can also help with opinions and whatnot. So you have those 4 seats left. For conditions and services, Ms. Deputy Speaker, you have 5 student parliament seats left and 5 non-parliament seats. You've got 10 seats left. Vice President Kane, you have 7 parliament spots and 3 non-parliament spots for the elections committee. So if anybody would like to know what that is, you basically deal with the elections that just happened, so that's almost a side thought unless we have to hold runoffs. And then you deal with petitions, so whenever somebody brings in a petition, you come up and sit down at a desk and validate it with your computer. Real simple stuff. And then you also, for the clubs that have elections, like I think RSA does, and I think programming and other orgs around campus, you would have to go there and just oversee it. So those are, there's a few more, I think there's 6.
Then your area club.
And any club upon request, I believe. So those are the ones, yeah. I don't need to list all the clubs. Finance Commission, if you want to come, they meet on the same Wednesday as Parliament during free period. Janelle has 3 non-Parliament spots left and 4 Parliament spots left. So if anybody's interested in that, you guys basically vote on the requests that are brought to the Finance Commission. Monk, again, your other committee, who, of course, you now have Thomas and Caitlin on as non-student member, non-parliament members. You have 3 non-parliament and 7 parliament. PR deals with, sharing our agenda, getting our ads out as much as possible, which I can say we have lacked in the past, which I'm very glad we have somebody here finally. We didn't have one last year, but we do this year. I'm very hopeful. Student Organization Committee, I know Ms. Vutek, the secretary, has already gotten verbal commitments from some people, but they have to fill out those forms. But you have 3 non-parliament and you have 7 student parliament seats. So I'm not going to go over the college committees. There's a lot of them. I don't want to keep you guys too much, but really going to push you guys, get your friends, try to put them on. You don't have to get all your friends on the committees. Maybe get one. I'd like to see at least half of these committees full for the year. It doesn't have to be totally full, so I'd like to see half. So let's try to push for that. And anything better would be a plus, in my opinion. Same thing with Parliament. Just keep pushing to try to get Parliament members. I know we had 10 out, and we got 3 in. So that's very awesome. We're still waiting for the others to come in, if they do. But nonetheless, we're happy to have you guys here. And I have no other appointments, resignations, or vacancies.
All right, and with that, any issues with parliament members? No? All right, I'm seeking a motion to adjourn. Deputy Speaker Sala and second by Representative Vutek, Secretary Vutek. Yeah. We are, I'll let you have the vote.
I am present.
Esmond Kane,
Still coming.
Janelle Gomez, Alexa Swansky, Samantha Setta,
Here.
Lily Gallo, Taylor Rutek, here, Amy Luzon,
Here.
E. Isaiah Hopper,
Here.
Julian McAdams, Nika Elizabeth Williams, Arthur Patry,
Here.
Haley Rose.
Here.